Hello everyone and welcome to our next session on Stateless Component. Introduction to Stateless Components. In this module, we will explore stateless components in React. Stateless components, also known as functional components, are an essential concept in React development. They are simpler, more concise, and often easier to test compared to stateful components. What are stateless components? Stateless components are those components that do not manage or hold any state. They are purely presentational, meaning they render the UI based on the props they receive without maintaining their own state. These components are typically written as JavaScript functions and are sometimes referred to as functional components. Benefits of stateless components. Stateless components offer several benefits. They are easier to write and understand because they do not involve complex state management logic. They promote better separation of concerns by focusing on the presentation layer. Stateless components are also more efficient as they are less resource intensive, resulting in improved performance. Additionally, they are easier to test and reuse across the application. Example of a stateless component. Let's look at an example of a stateless component. Here, we have a simple greeting component that takes a name prop and displays a greeting message. This component will be purely functional and will not maintain any state. Converting a stateful component to stateless. Sometimes you may start with a stateful component and later realize it does not need to manage any state. In such cases, converting a stateful component to a stateless one can simplify your code. Let's convert a simple stateful component to a stateless component. When to use stateless components? Stateless components are ideal for scenarios where the component's sole purpose is to render UI based on props. They are commonly used for presentational purposes where no interaction or state management is required. If a component does not need to hold or manage state, it should be written as a stateless component to keep the code base clean and efficient. Now, let's consider a more practical example where stateless components are used within a parent-child structure. We'll create a card component that displays user information and a user list component that renders multiple card components. The user card component is a stateless functional component that takes a single prop user. Inside the component, we destructure the user prop to access the name and email properties of the user object. Then, we render the user's name as an H2 tag heading and their email address as a P tag paragraph. The user list component is another stateless functional component that takes a single prop users. Inside the component, we iterate over the user's array using the map method. For each user in the array, we render a user card component with the user prop set to the current user object. We also assign a unique key to each user card element to help React identify which items have changed, been added, or been removed. The app component is the root component of our application. Inside the component, we define an array of users, each containing a name and an email. We then render the user list component passing the users array as a prop. This code demonstrates the usage of stateless components in a parent-child structure. The user list component acts as the parent component, rendering multiple user card components as its children, each representing a user's information. This modular structure makes the code more readable, maintainable, and reusable. To summarize, in this module, we learned about stateless components in React. We discussed their benefits, explored examples, and saw how to convert stateful components to stateless ones. Stateless components are a key part of building efficient and maintainable React applications. That's all for this session. Thank you.